Lösen wir den verdammten Fall. Mein Schlaf war tief und erholsam. Du versuchst mit den Händen das Blut zu verbergen, das aus dir heraustropft. Ehrlich gesagt, war es ein völliger Albtraum, Kim. Du schluckst das, du schluckst das Blut herunter und schließt das Thema ab. Durchkämmen wir die ganze Insel, Zentimeter für Zentimeter. Das ist der nächste Schritt in der Aufgabenkette. Du spuckst das Blut aus und machst dich wieder in die Arbeit. Du bist eben knallhart. Verdammt genau, das bin ich.
Okay. He's still worried. You must have really thrashed and squealed in your sleep.
Wow. 3 Level-Ups. Ich muss meine Schmerzgrenze erhöhen. So, den einen spare ich mir.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Ich sichte sie.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin, husband and wife. Widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to survive? Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Sticht irgendetwas Ungewöhnliches hervor?
Oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory, that is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly like reading.
Schauen Sie mal, Kim. Schlagkräftige kommunistische Theorie. Schlüssig und wahrheitsgetreu. Schauen Sie mal, Kim. Gestörtes Comic-Geifer. Schauen Sie mal, Kim. Pessimistisches Geseier für Leute, die nichts auf die Reihe kriegen. Schauen Sie mal, Kim. Ein Buch. Ein linkes Buch. Ich habe nichts dazu zu sagen. Wie sieht es mit Ihnen aus?
Yeah. I agree. Humanitarian sciences. It stands out. Not a lot of critical theory around in Ravachol West.
Your incendiary remark has failed to provoke him.
Oh.
Wasn't there some in the communist student's room?
Ein Student im Wohngebäude hatte auch solche Bücher.
Well, yes. That one student did.
The little books seem inconsequential next to the big pile of frivolous entertainment covering them.
Bücher zur kritischen Theorie. Was könnte das Ihrer Meinung nach zu bedeuten haben?
Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here, they have some education and a certain set of interests.
Interesting. The greasy old spring mattress lies in the corner.
Yes, anytime. If you need...
You don't have...
Und wie ich ein Held sein muss, Kim. Ich muss der Held sein. Ah, wo ist das Shirt? Bin ich jetzt komplett blöd? Ja, da ist es das erste. +1 Hand, Auge, ha? Ich bleib bei Konzeptbildung. Winterschal. Hey, 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 hey. Chill, Controller, chill. +2 Empathie, -1 Beherrschung. Aber ich hab doch gerne die Schauspielkunst.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard. The keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
Was ist das da?
The console of an antique computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Wozu wohl dieses Steuerpult dient?
Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. Sounds like this device was used to control the electronics here. Maybe it still does.
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer. Nothing happens.
We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator, it didn't look like there was fuel in it. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has something in it.
The boat engine.
Oder wir können vielleicht etwas aus dem Bootsmotor abpumpen?
But officer, then we would have to swim back to the mainland. Let's just look around, okay?
The consul stands by, mutely. Urgence, ouvert, reads a dial key. Allumé reads another. The frequency band says, radio diffuser. The dial slides under the glass, silently. You make out defunct stations on the UKV frequency. The words, Feld Insula.
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one, a heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small.
Was befindet sich auf der anderen Seite?
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
Bekomme ich diese Tür auf?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
Sie haben recht, wir öffnen die große Tür. Sehen Sie irgendwo eine Steuervorrichtung? Es erscheint mir sehr unwahrscheinlich, dass wir sie nicht öffnen.
Alright, I retract my statement. It was naive. Let's look around and get it open.
The heavy metal door stands at
Okay, gehen wir raus. Suchen wir nach Öl. Öl. Oh ja, wie schön das alles wieder leckt.
A strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea. Leave it all and walk in.
Bin jetzt schon so weit gekommen.
With a bottle in your hand.
Mit einer Flasche in der Hand?
Always.
Warum?
Perhaps there's someone there, under the water, waiting for you, where it has always been. Smelling of tutti frutti and betrayal. Maybe you know it's going to hurt.
Aber es ist kalt.
Yes, cold and still. But love is warm, like the inside of her mouth.
Nee.
Yes. No. We're not starting with that. Not now. Not this time. This thought is over.
Ich hebe meinen Blick.
In the snowy mirror of the bay, you see Martinez, reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. And the shacks too. Pine trees and motor lorries, upside down. Islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go. Step in. It's been too long.
Ich schüttel den Kopf. Kann ich ins Wasser treten? Gott, zum Glück nicht. Oh ja. Können wir uns auch gleich teilen.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place to shoot from.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Nehme einen aus der Dose heraus.
The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Tio Moteri. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Druan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grad. Tio Moteri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
Tio Motiri, die haben wir auch in Land's End gefunden, erinnern Sie sich?
I may have been wrong when I said it wasn't important. This means the same person could have visited both locations. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside, though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
Ich sehe mir die Wand an.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Ich fasse zuerst den Beton an.
Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Ich sehe durch das Loch im Beton.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. Trepidation, a tingling feeling in your stomach. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
Zur Linken.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B.
Zur Rechten.
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 10. The doomed commercial area.
Und dazwischen.
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop. The upstairs window of Clausia's room. In the snow, reflecting light.
Da ist es.
Do you have a line of sight to the window?
More than that.
Kim, mit einem Fernglas könnte ich in das Zimmer hineinsehen. Ja, es gibt eine Lücke zwischen 33a und 10. Ich kann bis zum Dach sehen.
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against a cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
Kim, ich könnte das schaffen. Ich könnte den Schuss hinbekommen.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
Ganz großes Kino, meisterhafte Ermittlungsarbeit. Könnte der Schütze noch hier sein?
Where?
Auf dieser Insel.
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and
We should move now.
Jemand beobachtet mich. Was ein Arsch. Wird Zeit, da oben Öl reinzufüllen.
this old cylindrical generator waits with its fuel. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch.
Dann ziehen wir mal am Seil.
The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old warhorse before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
The heavy metal door stands as it...
Fuel, generator, console. That's our...
A dim golden glow animates the console. Faint.
It's on. Turn emergency open.
Automatic boot.
I think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle. a dim ambient orange. The dial slides under the dusty glass, dark and silent, despite...
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military...
The blast
ja.
door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Sesam, öffne dich.
After you.
Vorhin, draußen, als wir durch den Sand gelaufen sind, habe ich mich beobachtet gefühlt.
So did I. Not back there, but I felt it since we came here.
Was ist, wenn wir nochmal in einen Kampf verwickelt werden?
Don't worry. I have a gun.
Was ist dort? Ich habe auch eine Waffe.
I know. It was not easy to acquire.
Was ist dort?
I don't know.
Gehen wir. Was habe ich denn für einen Gegenstand bekommen? Hab einen Scheiß bekommen, lügt mich doch nicht an. Aha, ich sehe dich, alter Mann. Who the fuck are you?
An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Sie haben immer noch gute Augen.
My eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
Sind Sie der Feuertyp?
The what now? I can't hear you.
Haben Sie vor kurzem zwei Kindern gesagt, dass sie ihr Feuer ausmachen sollen? Ein Zwillingspaar.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Haben Sie die Schutztür geschlossen?
I did. And you opened it. How?
Woher wussten Sie, dass ich komme?
Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Das haben Sie doch gar nicht gesagt, Kim.
I did.
We have entered a world where he said you shouldn't. It is the only world.
Das war doch nicht reaktionär, das war cool.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyrating, mental illness music.
Sie haben da aber ein schönes Gewehr.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
Ist das eine Belmagraph?
It's a Triangong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
Er tätschelt sein Gewehr.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
Die Xinjiao-Kommune?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from the board.
Ihre Waffe leistet Ihnen noch immer gute Dienste, so wie meine. Entschuldigen Sie, ich muss Sie bitten, Ihre Gewehr niederzulegen, damit wir weitersprechen können. Wir sind von der Polizei. Ich bin Polizist, Sie können die Waffe behalten, aber richten Sie sie auf den Boden und keine Bewegung. Ich zeige ihm meine.
Yes, I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
Er umschließt sein Gewehr fester.
His right eye twitches. With what? Fear? Rage?
We have come to ask you questions, nothing more. If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
Another spitball lands in the ashes. That's all the answer he gives.
Entschuldigen Sie, ich muss Sie bitten, Ihr Gewehr niederzulegen, damit wir weitersprechen können. Wir sind von der Polizei. Ich bin Polizist, Sie können die Waffe behalten, aber richten Sie sie auf den Boden und keine Bewegung.
No.
Der Lieutenant richtet seine Pistole direkt auf den Kopf des Mannes und sagt:
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Der alte Mann lässt das Gewehr unsanft zu Boden fallen, dann sieht er es an, wie es so da liegt.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like a song.
Was haben Sie da gesagt?
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
Die Gegenwart?
The present to be afraid and cold.
Der alte Mann zieht die Kapuze seines Plastikumhangs zurück und sieht hinauf in den Himmel. Er ist blau-grau, genau wie das Meer. Diese Worte, die Zukunft lehrt ein.
Real music. Real Proletkult. That's La Revacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
You need to address that remark.
Ich bin kein Menschenfeind, ich bin ein halbtoter Polizist, der einfach nur seine Arbeit erledigt. Was ist La Revacholière?
It is the anthem of the world revolution. One of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, favorites of history. And in Sinyao, it was some Samaran shit, I guess.
La Revacholière. Den Namen habe ich schon einmal gehört, aber irgendwo anders, in einem Traum.
Everyone has. They named a fucking perfume after it.
Nein, das ist es nicht. Ich habe mit ihr gesprochen.
Talk to her?
Er hebt seine buschigen Augenbrauen und wendet seinen Blick vom Himmel, direkt in ein blutunterlaufenes Auge. Richtig, in der Kirche.
God's shithouse. Should have taken it down like they did in Grad. Dismantled it for firewood.
Wie ging das nochmal? Das Lied meine ich.
How did it go?
Er sieht sein Gewehr auf dem Boden an und schüttelt langsam den Kopf.
Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now.
He waves erratically with his hand, annoyed that he can't remember. A little tremor passes through him. It was dear to him. He resents forgetting it.
Wer sind Sie?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
Seine Augen wenden sich wieder dem Schilf zu, tot und ausdruckslos.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? Your holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
Wie lange sind Sie schon auf dieser Insel?
43 years. No. I've been on other islands too. I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in '18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Nochmal, Sie halten sich hier seit 43 Jahren versteckt?
43 years and 10 months.
Das ist aber standhaft.
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Er blickt über das Wasser.
Always waiting. Always.
Worauf?
For her to return.
Her who?
Girl, child, revolution.
Ich komme von dort. Du zeigst in Richtung Festland. Ich kann Ihnen versichern, das planen die Leute dort bestimmt nicht. Ich war dort. Die Stadt ist ein Pulverfass. Es kann auch immer passieren. Ich habe es gesehen. Das Kapital ist einfach zu mächtig. Die Reichen sind sehr gut organisiert.
They have you. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
Sie haben gesagt, Sie wären aus Ihrer Einheit desertiert?
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Eine Glaubenskrise?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
Eine Sekunde wofür?
for reaction to take hold.
Es war nichts Reaktionäres. Sie hatten einfach nur Angst.
It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
And this was when?
Der Lieutenant schaut instinktiv auf sein Notizbuch, holt es aber nicht hervor.
May the 13th, 08. 44 years ago. The horizon was black with Coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dunkle Magie?
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower,
Er deutet auf das Gebäude.
huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
Blickt nach Westen.
A terrible shame still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
Sie sind aber nicht in den Kartenraum gegangen.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
Was war das für ein Geräusch?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Was haben Sie gesehen?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know
Was?
that the bourgeois are not human.
Sie haben den Verstand verloren, das habe ich schon immer vermutet. Das ist jetzt aber wirklich genug. Ich lasse ihn ausreden.
I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
Der alte Mann verstummt. Seine dunklen Augen durchdringen nach wie vor deine Haut, während er in irgendeine entlegene Ferne starrt und langsam den Kopf schüttelt, davon zurückzieht. Wie haben Sie denn so lange überlebt?
How does anyone survive? I steal
Und was stehlen Sie so?
supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
Er hustet wieder und legt sich die Hand auf den Bauch.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
He does seem frail. Good for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
You also have Druamine.
Wir haben Dramamine und andere opioidbasierende Schmerzmittel. Sie haben doch Schmerzen, oder?
I have been running out of that stuff.
Wie kommen Sie damit klar? Also mental.
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
Seine Augen drehen sich in seinen Schädel und wieder zurück.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
Ich bemerke, dass der Lieutenant gerade etwas sagen will.
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Er sieht dich mit seinem von Sonne und Wind ausgedörrten Gesicht an. Irgendwo daran verbirgt sich eine schmerzverzerrte Miene.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
Wo sind wir hier? Diese Insel?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
Wozu hat sie früher gedient?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
Meinen Sie die Landung? Die Wiedereroberung von Revachol?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Erstens, ich gehöre nicht zu denen. Koalitionsmilitär. Jemand, der diesen Wahnsinn am Ende setzen will. Mörder. Ich weiß, was Sie meinen.
You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis,
Iblis?
the black-eyed angel.
Sagt er und nickt.
Shaitan Ahura, the Darkened One.
Wie haben Sie sich die ganze Zeit versteckt gehalten?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
Wie sind Sie von hier aus Festland gelangt?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
Verstummt. Sein Blick bleibt an den Hütten hängen, die auf der anderen Seite des Wassers zusammengepfercht sind. Das Waffen versteckt unter der Saint-Ghislain 22b. Im Keller. Waren Sie schon mal dort?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
Richtig.
Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across. Wait, how did he get down there?
Wie sind sie eigentlich ins Gebäude hineingekommen? Dort ist doch abgeschlossen. Zumindest jetzt.
I didn't have to. Came in through the storm drains.
Storm drains?
There used to be a system that connected the bunkers, tunnels and such, under the church and everywhere. Most of them are gone now, collapsed, just bricks. All the old infrastructure has...
Warum laufen sie nicht hin?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
Es gibt einen kleinen Bunker unter dem Feldgebäude. Haben sie sich dort aufgehalten?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Sie haben sich umgebracht?
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Eine Frage noch. Brauchen Sie Zigaretten der Marke Thumutiri?
I do.
Haben Sie die schon mal auf dem Festland geraucht?
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Sprechen wir über etwas anderes.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
Sie haben gesagt, dies sei Ihre bedingungslose Kapitulation.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
Wir sind nicht von der Koalition ernannt. Wir versuchen einfach nur Menschen zu helfen. Stimmt, wir gehören zu den Guten. Wir sorgen für die Durchsetzung der Gesetze. Wir halten diese Tiere davon ab, sich gegenseitig abzuschlachten. Das hat nicht besonders gut geklappt. So wirkt es nach außen, ja. Aber insgeheim plane ich, die BMA zu einer masuvianischen Revolutionseinheit zu machen. Oh Gott. Ja, warum nicht?
Rock and roll posturing. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste Insolente. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
Seine Hand zittert und er erleidet einen Hustenanfall.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
Sie sind also ein kommunistischer Soldat aus der Kommunistenarmee.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
Sie haben doch gesagt, dass Sie für das Verteidigungskorps ausgebildet und diesem auch zugewiesen worden seien.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Moment, was macht ein Politkommissar eigentlich?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution. A future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
Das heißt also, dass Sie ein ausgebildeter Kommunist sind, oder?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
Ich bin Moralist. Nein, ich bin auch Kommunist. Ich sage nichts.
He looks away to the sea and lets out a cough.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Ich nehme das im Sand liegende Gewehr.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times. The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
Das Gewehr wurde mehrfach ausgebessert und modifiziert.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He just stares in front of him.
Wie er gesagt hat, eine Triangong, hergestellt in Xinjiao.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a Triangong, too.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
Das Ding verschießt Mantelgeschosse im Kaliber 4,46 mm.
The right type and the right calibre.
Nickt der Lieutenant, während er seinen Blick auf das Gewehr wirft.
He's liking this.
Ich steck's mal weg.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response. Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Wofür benutzen Sie dieses Gewehr?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
But what?
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Das heißt also, dass Sie Menschen getötet haben, nachdem die Kampfhandlungen eingestellt worden waren. Haben Sie mit diesem Gewehr einen Colonel des privaten Sicherheitsfirma Kreml erschossen? Ich weiß, dass Sie es mir erzählen wollen. Haben Sie letzte oder vorletzte Woche jemand mit diesem Gewehr getötet?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Haben Sie mit diesem Gewehr einen Colonel der privaten Sicherheitsfirma Kreml erschossen?
The who now?
Er lehnt sich zu dir und hält sich die Hand hinters Ohr.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Das Mitglied der faschistischen Todesschwadron, das in der Nacht des 4. März eine Kugel fressen musste.
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
Plötzlich geht der Lieutenant einen Schritt auf ihn zu.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Sie sind Kommunist. Ich habe mit dem Toten gesprochen und er hat mir gesagt, dass ihn der Kommunismus umgebracht habe.
Stupid twat.
The lieutenant looks at you with worry in his eyes.
Genau so ist es. Ich habe eine Seance mit seiner Seele abgehalten. Sie hat mir die Richtung gewiesen. Geradewegs zu ihm.
Matter does not behave in such a way. Those are aberrant bourgeois musings. Magic earl creatures. Esoteric theosophy. It's all crypto-fascism. Your brain is rotting from the radio waves.
He does not answer the provocation. It does not look like he thinks this approach worked. Yeah, this just did nothing. But still, somehow you knew it was a communist.
Woher?
Perhaps you suspected it before you took the case.
Aber das hat gar nichts gebracht.
Was it supposed to?
Um ehrlich zu sein, denke ich langsam, dass er recht hat und dass alles nur Kryptofaschismus ist. Dann werde ich tiefer gehen.
The inland sea is dark, vast, and on the surface, meaningless.
Ist das Wunder?
No, the miracle is still waiting. This is the darkness.
Aber ich bin doch weit im Westen, oder?
You are. Soon it will happen.
Standing there, slack-jawed, brain festering.
Komm schon, was habe ich noch vergessen?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Ausgezeichnet.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up.
Natürlich. Danke, Kopf. Vielen Dank.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul.
Hinter dem Fenster des Opfers befanden sich viele Maiglöckchen. Zeigst ihm die getrocknete Blume.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly, nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
Ich habe diese Blumen nirgendwo sonst in Martinez gesehen. Nur hier.
They blossom on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May, before they ruined it.
Ich glaube, mit Blut kann man nicht wirklich viel düngen.